Warning, the Spoilercast does contain spoilers of current and past movies, books, video, games, TV shows, and possibly your life. So if you're listening to a show called Spoilercast and you're pissed off that we gave away spoilers, we really don't care. Thanks again and have a wonderful day.
Welcome back to Spoilercast by Altar Media. It has been a long time since we've been in the studio to record one of these, but actually just a couple of days ago we were in the studio recording an episode of Spellcast, weren't we, Dyer?
We were indeed.
So tonight we have a couple of people with us that have been on before, and I am pleased as can be to have them on again, and that is Mr. Andrew Ormsby from over there at Flick Freaks.
Ahoy!
And then we have Mr. Shawn from over there at Geek.0.
What's up?
What, you didn't want to do a woo for you as well? No?
Sorry. I spent all that
He's
energy.
going to speak over my intro, but whenever it's time for him, yeah, it's fine.
Let him ahoy. I was actually cheering for him. I wasn't trying to block your ahoy.
Yeah.
Do it now. Do it now.
No, time's passed, fucker.
And the only 16-minute awake, Jareth, how are you?
Fuck everything.
Hey, so how's the cat?
Sleepy.
Yeah?
Got you fired.
Yeah.
You got me fucking fired.
Okay, so that was a really, really funny video.
You're up to like 4,000 views now,
That's
man.
a thing, too.
What
dude,
the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, people love you, dude. And
People are only interested in me when I'm fired.
apparently, they're like, finally got rid of that guy. Yeah. One of them actually referred to you as Haley Joel Osment.
It's called...
Actually, there's like 3 or 4 people now
Were
that
there?
call them Haley Joel Osment.
Nah,
Dick
oh, man.
lickers.
It's like it's called rubbernecker syndrome. So like when you're on
It's
when
a
you're
train
on the
wreck,
show,
yeah.
when you're on the show, everybody's like, yeah, he's on the show. But once they see the word fired, like everyone tunes in, they're like, oh, we gotta see this. What happened? Tell me he threw some shit on his way
man.
out.
I so badly. I was talking it out, and I showed the video to one of my friends at work, and I was like, this is really funny. And I was like, and my recommendation is that they go back over to Andrew's place with Jareth, and then have Jareth sit down and go through all of Andrew's regular, ahoy, oh, you freaks, and let him be the one to do all of your intro, so you're nowhere in the video, but he's in your apartment going, hey, so Andrew doesn't have the power to fire me.
Yeah.
He's a disgruntled employee, and you'll no longer be seeing him. That has been taken care of. The video is going to remain up because it's kind of humorous, especially now that I'm doing this follow-up video and blah, blah, and let him just be like the new host of Flick Freaks.
I thought about it, but I was so tired that night that
I know.
when we got to his apartment, I'm like, we'll just do it here real quick, just you being pissed.
Oh, man. But I watched...
We can do it eventually where you just break in.
Wait, did you say you were gonna film him right there at his apartment? Just him being pissed?
Yeah, no, he already did.
You do realize
that's
you could
already
point
happened.
you could point a camera at Jareth just about any time during his life, and it would look like he's pissed.
But not holding a cat.
So no,
that's true.
they got done. We got done because we were over at your place gaming and all that good business,
Yep.
and then they got done there, and they went home over to our place, and Jareth scooped up his cat and has a 32-second long video of Jareth holding his cat, being angry about being fired.
Did you watch the ending of that too?
Yes.
I was pretty proud of that.
Yes, it's like if you still feel the need to donate to Flick Freaks, there's the Patreon account, and then it like flashes away. It's like
Patreon.com/FlickFreaks.
But then it fades to black, then it comes back in. It's like, but if you feel like supporting Jareth in his time of crisis or whatever it was, then and it's the same link to the Flick Freaks.
That's funny.
It's like, yeah, so this is how you support Jareth.
Yeah.
So that was very comical.
It hasn't worked yet, but...
No. Well, it is what it is.
Mm.
I think much like me, because I didn't know where what it was linked to. I didn't know what the other side of the story was. Because I didn't know. Yeah, I was about to say, I didn't know anything about him to begin with.
Poor Colin.
But everybody keeps...
poor Colin for a couple days.
Yeah.
Now Colin's doing okay.
Yeah. Poor kind of funny.
Yeah, they're losing 500 subscribers a day.
Well, that's why and I had to look it up after the fact. And of course, everybody's like, oh man, Colin should check this out. Colin should check this out. And for a few minutes, I thought they were referring to him as Colin.
No.
Oh, no.
and that
Colin
he
Moriarty.
was unaware. Yeah, no, I was totally confused. That was me just being dumb.
Yeah.
And then like I said, you explained it to me whenever we got over to Shawn's place, and I was like, oh, now I'm on par. And so then I looked up the story in the article. And all
So I have a funny little thing to talk about with that whole thing, because somebody posted something down in the comments section where they're like, Jareth, I don't understand, because they didn't get the whole Colin thing. They're like, I don't understand. Is it because you peed on a dog? I saw you post that on Twitter. And I was like, what?
Oh, it's because you're...
Yeah, but what happened was you said you got peed on by a dog, but but the person who posted that, English wasn't their first language, so they thought that you peed on a dog, and that's why you got fired.
Yeah. And then all of this is on the tail of the doors closing at your actual job.
Yeah.
And so you actually, as of right now, in reality,
Are fired.
are outside of an actual factual job because the place you were working at was like a dick.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Well, I mean, you remember that time whenever I was like, yeah, I dance around the fact that I'm law enforcement, and you're like, yeah, you're totally a cop, remember?
You never told me to dance around law enforcement. It was my first fucking episode.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
I
the
was
first
not
episode.
briefed at all. It was like my second episode or some shit.
Yeah, something like that, but that's all right.
I still think it's hilarious that someone who English isn't their first language thought you pissed on a dog.
So here's the thing with that.
And it got you fired.
A bunch of people just read that comment and took it as fact.
Oh.
So I spent the whole day deleting a whole bunch of comments with a whole bunch of people yelling at Jareth for peeing on dogs.
God damn it.
Like I said,
It is what
and
it
like
is.
I always say, I came here for the comment section.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But, so...
That's funny as shit, though.
But,
People were mad at you for pissing on a dog. That
what's
didn't
what's
happen.
humorous about that is I think it's that same comment that they follow him.
Yeah.
And they saw that you're now outside of work because of the post you yourself made. So you can't get mad at me about sharing this here.
No, I'm just mad that you're bringing up old, new, fresh, wounds.
Why you gotta
Oh,
bring
is that
up
what it
old
is?
shit?
Is
Why
that what
you
it
bring
is?
up old shit?
Yeah, why
So-
you bringing up old shit?
Because that's what I do. Snap. So anyway, so you yourself posted it up, and they took that information. So that happened, and then Andrew makes this video about you being fired, and they make correlation between the two. And they go, oh, did you really get fired from Flick Breaks? Because this seems real now.
Well, hell, at least they follow me on Twitter, I guess.
Right?
And honestly, I didn't even put two and two together when I did that. You were just the first person to pop into my head. I'm like, okay, Colin Moriarty, we can do something with this. Jareth, you're fired.
But when we got over there to Shawn's place the other day, all three of us, except for you, Mr. Andrew, all three of us were like, oh, we thought you were doing a bit about him actually losing his job.
And I genuinely felt bad because I'm a
Shit was
dumbass
sad.
and I didn't think of that.
Yeah, all three of us were like, I don't know how that's funny, but I mean, if you've got something, go for it.
Yeah.
So, I missed an opportunity to tell a story the other day while we were doing Spoilercast or Spellcast. I apologize.
You're going to keep doing that for a long time.
Oh yeah, I'm going to keep doing it probably forever because I still do it just as regularly as I can. So I get both names out there, Spellcast, Spoilercast. It works. But Dire Monkey hasn't had the chance to actually hear this story, and you were going to tell a story the other day on Spellcast that you weren't allowed to tell on
Not
Spellcast.
safe for Spellcast, yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it during the episode, so we never got to set this up.
Right.
But yeah, so I want to hear what your story was. Is it still relevant?
Yeah, it's still relevant. We're going to talk about Power Rangers, right?
Yeah, for like a minute. I mean, I don't have a problem with a little bit of it.
Okay, well-
I mean, there's not much of it that can be spoiled for
Right.
all intents and purposes. We've all seen it in the TV show if you watched anything about the TV show.
Did you fuck a glazed Krispy Kreme donut?
No, but goddamn, that's on the way home. Thanks for the idea.
That's why I'm here, buddy.
Actually, the Power Rangers show kept me from getting an awkward sex talk and an ass whooping from my dad.
Now, that's a headline right
you know
there.
what? I really, really, really wish there were cameras in here.
Oh, man.
Because you all would have died at the look on my face just now. Like
Yeah,
it was
it
all
was-
just pulled out of me. I'm like, wait, what?
It's kind of like that Lewis Black joke about if it weren't for my horse, I wouldn't have spent that year in college.
Yeah.
Same type of thing. The Power Rangers show came out around, I was in 7th grade.
93.
Or so. Yeah, 93. And I loved the show, so I would record it. I was also becoming a man and puberty and all that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And through sneaking around like I do like a ninja, I found...
You were very ninja-esque.
I was.
Like Chris Farley ninja-esque.
Yes. I am the Great White Hope. I happened to find my dad's VHS tape of... Do you guys remember the HBO series Real Sex?
Yeah.
He recorded those.
Oh, good.
And I found it and kept it for a little while, to learn, as you do. I like to learn.
Yeah.
Learn. But I guess he noticed it was missing.
Well, of course.
And so I started recording Power Rangers over all the Real Sex. So when he came asking about it, if I had seen the tape, I'm like, well, I found this and I was going to record my show. And I showed it to him and it had like 3 or 4 Power Rangers movies. But it still had Real Sex like 8 through 10 on the end of it.
You got to put it in the middle. It's safer.
I was in 7th grade. I hadn't developed the true deception that I have now.
You weren't the master of the VCR.
Yeah, I wasn't the master of the VCR.
And now it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. But yeah.
For 2 reasons. VCRs are dead technology.
Yeah.
Officially now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I still have the tape, though. And I think I still have the VCR. What was that Chris Rock line about the being extorted for money in the new comedy special?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, that was Chappelle.
Chappelle, yeah.
Chappelle.
God, that's a funny special.
Where he was talking about
both of them are.
Somebody sending a VHS tape, and he tells the cops, he's like, "You're probably looking for somebody wearing bell bombs, because who the fuck uses VHS anymore?"
That's about right.
Yeah. So Power Rangers saved me from an ass whooping and an awkward sex talk.
Hey, yeah. I mean, so my story isn't quite like that, but
nobody's stories are quite like that.
Now, you guys actually already heard this whenever we were doing the recording for our Let's Play over on 7 Days to Die. So the other day, so I'm more or less sharing this with the audience as well as Dyer. So the other day, I wanted to go get lunch, and I was like, I haven't seen my mom in a couple of days. Let's go get chow. So I get a hold of my mother, and I'm like, hey, let's go get some lunch. And she's like, okay, so we're heading over to Cheddar's, right? Well, then she gets there before I do, and she's like, it's like really busy over here. Can we go someplace else? And she told me nowhere weird, because I like Korean food and Chinese food and sushi and all sorts of stuff. And she qualifies those as weird.
If it's not a steak and a baked potato, it's weird.
Yeah, I mean, basically. She was like, can we go someplace with a burger? And I'm like, sure, let's go. So I'm like, go across the street. Let's go to Applebee's. I mean, it's just basically Cheddar's, but not.
Good.
I mean, So we head over there, and our waitress comes over to the table, and she's got visible tattoos on her forearm, and I am the kind of person, I'm like, oh, where'd you get your ink done at? Because I'm curious about those type of things. And she happened to have gone the same place that I had gone to get several of my pieces of work. And I'm like, oh, cool, who's your artist? And of course, we're talking about who all got our art done. And she's like, all right, I'm going to get my drink. So she walks away, and also my mother goes, she's really cute. I'm like, I mean, yeah. At this point in time, that's not what I registered to begin with. I'm more focused on the artwork hanging on her arm, but I was like, I mean, okay, sure, yeah, I mean. Well, she comes back and gives us her drinks, and as soon as she sets them down, I say, thank you, ma'am. And then she turns around and walks away. Throughout the entire meal, every opportunity my mother gets, she leans a little closer, and she's like, she's really cute. And I'm like, okay, you can knock it off. Because every time, I'm like, always like, yeah, okay. And then I go back to what it is I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, what I'm talking about is, hey, my YouTube channel's doing really good, and I'm getting a bunch of new subscribers, and I'm getting, like, all these things, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm really happy about all the things that are happening with it. And, they built me a new computer over here with Flick Freaks and Geek.0, and I'm super happy about this. You should totally see my computer system. Like, that's my conversation. But my mother just keeps going, mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds like my grandmother.
So finally, at the end of the meal, my mother goes, I'm going to write your phone number down on the receipt.
That never works.
And I go, don't you fucking dare. Of course, I say those exact words to my mother. I say, don't you fucking dare. And she goes, well, why not? And I go, because it's considered bad form. And she goes, no, it's not. And I go, yes, it is. And she goes, no, it's not. And I go, look, they have that happen all day long. It's considered unwelcome unless they show you some type of sign that maybe this is okay. Or
they just say, put your phone number on the receipt
yeah,
so I can call you.
There's got to be something else there, right? Other than my mother's deluded, oh, hey, she's pretty cute. And I'm like, finally I was like, okay, you are correct. Yes, she is really cute. Fine, fair, all right? I'm not going to argue that with you, but there's zero reason for you to write my phone number down on the ticket. Well, what I'm not paying attention to, because I'm too frustrated at my mother at this point in time, is the waitresses walk back up and hears like part of what's going on and inquires about the conversation. And my mother turns and looks at her and she goes, my son seems to think it's bad form to hit on your waitress. Now, the way that information has been presented to this young lady makes it sound like my mother wants to, and I'm telling her it's not appropriate. And so... So immediately, she's like, it happens all the time. And I go, that's precisely what it is. I'm trying to explain to her, so on and so forth. And she's like, okay, well, I'm going to go get your guys' guys rang up and then get you guys out of here. And so she walks back and towards the back to ring us out. And, of course, my mother's like, ha 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 ha, you're like really red. And I'm like, yeah, and it's completely up to you to determine whether or not this is rage or if it's embarrassment. I said, because right now I'm pretty certain it's like borderline of both. And she came back, gave us our receipt, and then we walked outside, and that became like the end of the entire thing. But my mother was just so tickled about it. She's just beside herself about how funny she thought she was being right then and there, and I could not stress to her how much she was just not.
Some people.
So that was my humor story from the other day. What?
So Kong, Nope Island.
Nope Island.
Let's talk about Nope Island.
So
y'all.
you wanna actually go over here and talk about? Oh, I have one other piece of really awesome news.
Okay, go ahead.
The next episode that we have for Spoilercast, we get Allie back.
Ooh.
I'm doing a little dance in my chair. Yeah, no, I already worked it out. She wasn't able to join us today because she already had previously in planned.
I think it's because she found out I was going to be here. It turns out every single time I'm here, she's not. So
Allie's not real.
Yeah.
That first person you met pretended to be.
Wait a second. Allie starts with an A. Andrew starts with an A.
No, they're not real.
Right.
They're not the same person.
Hold on. Had Allie met you before the last time I was here?
I don't think I've ever met Allie, have I?
Yeah, you met her whenever we were over in the other hallway.
Yeah,
We were on the other hallway?
We had that
at
big.
one time?
We had that big episode with like 8 people.
Yeah, it was me.
Was that Star Wars?
Texas?
No,
what
it was Jurassic Park.
Texas?
No, Jurassic
Allie
Park
wasn't on for that.
Allie wasn't on for Jurassic Park. No, it was
No.
Mike. It was
It was
Mike.
Mike and what's
It was Mike and Jareth,
Brian?
and then you had Brian and
I forget what her name is.
Shelby.
No, is it Shelby? Yeah,
Shelby. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I had a class with her over at
So,
OCC.
yeah, maybe I've never met Allie.
Maybe.
Allie, if you're listening to this and I've met you, I sincerely apologize. It's not because of you. It's because I have a terrible memory.
That happens.
It's not you. It's me.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's always the best line.
So we'll be getting her back.
I think we should not see other people.
Wait, does that mean we should meet?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. So we haven't done an episode of Spoilercast this entire month. So we did an episode of Agents of Serve where we covered Logan and talked about it. So we're going to bypass it, go to the next movie that was of any type of relevance for the month, in my opinion. That was Kong, Skull Island. Kong. We all had the opportunity to go see it. We actually all went to the same theater at the same time to see this movie.
Lovely evening.
Yeah, it was.
Jareth was my date. Shawn was yours.
Yep, I got to sit down next to Shawn.
It was fun.
Don't say it so like, it was fun.
So here's the deal. We went to the
You
theater.
make it sound like he cut a hole in the popcorn box and made you put your hand in there.
I didn't make him. He was reaching for it.
He didn't make me. I mean, no. To be perfectly honest, Kong was okay. It was pretty,
Yeah.
right? But literally the best part of the entire movie happened after the credits ended.
So
So
mid-movie, here we are in the middle of the movie, and all of a sudden Shawn's like, I caught something. I never catch something. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I never catch mistakes in movies when they happen, and I caught a mistake.
It's always on a
in
second
the
or
movie.
third viewing, yeah.
And he's like, there were not that many fucking helicopters on that motherfucking ship when they were rolling out in the water.
So
now
they're-
there's like a dozen
So
helicopters in
they're
the
on
air.
a cargo ship, okay? that has
4.
Not kidding, but 4. Okay,
Visible across the top of the ship.
4 Hueys on the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, they're like, okay, we're going to this island. I made an executive decision. And I counted
There's like 16.
11 attack choppers,
And
4
then-
large ones, and I'm like, where did all these fucking helicopters come from?
By the way, the movie takes place back post-Vietnam, immediately post-Vietnam.
By
yeah.
immediately, you mean they
Like, we're
literally,
still in the process
at the
of
beginning of the
withdrawing.
movie, they're like, all right, we're coming home.
Like, these guys ship out from Da Nang.
Yeah.
Like that, they're in the process of packing up to go home.
Yep.
And they get called and said, hey, you got to escort some scientists.
We got
to go."
ourselves one more mission.
Saigon's going down right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
most of them die.
Newsflash.
I mean,
Spoilers.
all of them?
No, like 5 of them live.
I mean,
All of the helicopters die.
all the helicopters. are
Every single
toast.
helicopter dies.
Within minutes of the movie, everything you saw in the trailer was
So
right
think
there
about
in the
this. At
beginning.
the end of the movie, there's even more helicopters coming to pick them up. Where'd those helicopters come from?
Another
Yeah.
boat.
Yeah, they said that there was going
Oh,
to be
wait.
another boat coming
Oh yeah, no,
to meet
no.
them at the...
They said they were sending the helicopter from the boat they were on.
Yeah.
Spawning helicopters. You know what? That is a.
It's a fucking helicopter portal.
They build helicopters on
That's
that
what
boat.
it is. They have all of the parts for helicopters on board that ship. They build them there, send them out. That's
There you
that's
go.
what it has
So
to be.
with that movie, I was both pleased and annoyed with like the middle 10 minutes. Because like the first bits, you know, them setting up John Goodman getting to the island and all that, and then introducing us to the people who fly the helicopters. I don't remember the name of the unit.
J Squad.
And then like once they get to the island, it's like 10 minutes of helicopter porn.
Yeah.
Where they're like, just look at these guys loving their job being in helicopters.
And then one guy all like super grinning while he's throwing
yeah,
bombs
he's like,
up
I'm
the side.
blowing this shit up, yeah. That's like,
Was it Sling Blade?
yeah.
I mean,
Some people call it a geyser bomb. I call it a sling bomb.
I think the one that was grinning so wildly was Cole, which is Shawn's favorite character.
Cole was-
which was
No, 'cause
my
the
favorite
guy-
character.
Cole was a pilot.
I'm pretty sure the guy grinning is like the one that pretty promptly gets
I
killed
think
by
you're
a
right.
tree.
Yeah, I think you're
the
right.
guy was, yeah.
Well,
Is that
the
Bucky?
pilot of that one is the one that got killed by the tree.
Well, I think
he was the
everybody-
Everybody on that, because that tree went through the entire
Yeah.
helicopter.
Which
Yeah.
I think is the only time ever that somebody can say that the tree actually came right at them.
Oh my, yeah.
yeah.
It,
It was
came
not-
out of nowhere.
It was not their fault. That tree hit them.
Also, if you have time to recognize at a distance that that's a monkey and he's got something in his hand that he appears to be throwing, why would you not like take evasive action?
Maybe he like
Shock?
maybe he juked around a mountain and then threw it immediately.
Perhaps, yeah.
Some people just aren't smart.
So, I mean, there's been a number of times in my life where something weird is happening and I should be taking action.
And you fail
Deer in the
to.
headlights sort of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
So modern day action movies are very, very similar to modern horror movies. So modern horror movies, like literally horror movies in general, they go off the same old trope. You know, blonde-haired, big-titted bitch ends up getting scared. She runs up the stairs when she should be running out the front door.
So she's the chick that you kill and make your
There you go. And then you wear her
ribs out
head
of.
the rest of the movie. Yeah. So, but
you make some really good ribs, by the way.
I want to see that movie.
thank you. I want to see that.
That's in the first 3 minutes of the film. The rest of it is him like cooking and cleaning, wearing her head.
Yeah. With
To be fair, in horror movies, the trope isn't just a dumb blonde. It's just people making bad decisions.
yes.
Yeah.
He
And
hacks
same thing
off her
with the
head,
action
wears
movies.
it, and then it turns into Julie and Julia for the rest of the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yes. There you go. I just lost it right there. No, and then the action premise is the same thing. So you got a bunch of guys who are now roided out and making really poor decisions that tactically no one else would actually make in real life, but hey, it makes for good action sequences.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess I could buy that.
Yeah.
All right, so Kong brings down all the helicopters.
Boom, boom,
I
boom,
mean,
beautifully.
Just
Oh,
thrashes
yeah,
them.
This movie is gorgeous.
Yeah, the cinematography is stunning.
Just thrashes them. And now they're all
And
on
he's
the
creative
ground.
about it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
now they're all on
I want to say this. So, in case a lot of people out there, if you don't know, this is in the same cinematic universe as the 2014 Godzilla film. So in 2020, this King Kong is going to fight the Godzilla from a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Booyah.
So if you're wondering how can King Kong fight Godzilla, that Godzilla was huge. This Kong is big, and he's still not done growing.
He's
like
Kong
80 feet tall.
Massive.
He's like several hundred feet tall,
and they address that in the movie. They're like,
he's still growing. Because
he's
this
a
movie
baby.
takes place in like the 70s or 60s. So, and the Godzilla took place in modern times. So he's got time to grow.
Yeah, he's getting bigger.
You're just trying to molest the
one thing
microphone with
that
a pot
No,
mic?
I was trying to get in the right position.
The one thing that I really like about this movie is every single incarnation of King Kong has been, he's just a misunderstood ape who really does have a heart, and he really does care sometimes. This King Kong is a fucking force of nature who will wreck your shit. He suffers no fools.
He doesn't, but here's the thing. The same thing you just mentioned about all the other Kong movies where like, oh, he's just misunderstood, but he has a heart. It's
also that for
all
this, too.
just lip service. He has a heart only because he has a hots for a chick.
Yeah.
But in this movie, I truly felt fucking bad for Kong.
Yeah.
Like, I
well,
was like,
it's because
God dang, they
it's
did
because
such a good job.
it's because the indigenous that are there have been like they've got
They
their own
revere him,
it's their own little ecosystem, and they're like
they made
he's
him
the
God.
savior.
yeah, you are here because
My personal opinion of the best thing about that movie is John C. fucking Reilly.
oh my god, yeah,
He was the best actor in the movie by
It's
far.
a fucking ant.
Yeah.
You hear
Yeah.
that?
It's not a bird. That's a fucking
It sounds
ant.
like a bird. That's a fucking ant.
I just
And you don't
love
even see it.
I just love
Yeah.
it when he's like, I just call it that because it sounds cool.
Yeah.
It sounds scary.
You call it what you
Skull
want.
Are you scared? You call it what you want.
I've never said it
You
out.
want to talk about the skull crawlers real quick? Those things are crazy cool.
So
Mhm.
Yeah, they're creepy as shit.
before we get to that though, because we hadn't got to the skull crawlers yet, they're walking through the bamboo shoots.
Oh, yeah.
dude.
Yeah, fuck that thing.
And I saw a bamboo shoot come down and go through a guy's mouth, and then through his neck, and straight out his asshole.
And
I
at
was like,
first you're like, what
At
happened?
first I thought the indigenous really do know how to throw some bamboo.
Well, I went that direction, and at the same time I was like, I don't know if that came down or shot up out of the ground. And I was like, are they in a spot that's just like mass spanning bamboo shoots?
And that lasted for about two
and then
a half
it gets
seconds.
way worse.
And then it became a whole giant box of nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Turns out those are spider legs, a giant spider.
And it just hangs
stepped
out.
on them.
It just
that are like
hangs out.
70 foot in the air.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
And it just lingers above this fucking bamboo shoot thing, and it's the base of its legs look like the bamboo shoots.
Yeah, it's like a giant daddy long leg.
Okay, but let's
Except
get to
way
what,
more horrifying.
So
Yeah.
we've got bamboo shoot legs, but let's get to what's really important. The geniuses that are underneath this thing freak out, and what do?
Start shooting up.
They shoot the underbelly of a giant fucking spider, and instantly I had a combination of skin crawlies and almost hurl.
Mhm.
Because the inside of spider guts, of a massive spider, spill into the mouth of and on top of a guy.
Hey, Shawn.
And it brings back really bad memories of when I was over at Sif Pop a couple months ago fixing their wiring.
Oh, and some spiders fell in your mouth?
And I had to pull some wiring out of the thing, and spiders fell on my mouth. And I still have scary thoughts about that.
Yeah.
Yep, nope, I'd quit. Quit life.
But then they do actually something really smart. They just start chopping bamboo in hopes that they're
So
going to cut the
genius.
thing's legs
Chopping
off.
it down, yep.
Yeah.
That was Cole. That's Cole
That's
that
Cole.
starts screaming.
Yeah.
He's like,
Because Cole's
cut,
my man.
cut its fucking legs out. And he just starts
Shitty Wiggum,
hacking.
dude.
Man.
He's the same dude in every movie he's in, and he's the only guy in Hollywood who can play the same guy in every movie he's in.
Oh,
and
Paul
be
Giamatti.
awesome.
We missed one other.
And not suck at.
We
Yeah,
missed
because of it.
one other great opportunity from Cole just before they go taking off into the bamboo shoots when they're sitting amongst the wreckage.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting
Eating
there
a
and
can
he's
of
eating
beans.
a can of fucking beans. And they're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
I'm gonna see if I can find the
What is
quote.
it?
that
What
he
is it he
says.
says in that?
There's
That
no-
wasn't...
There's no tactical precedent. We did our best.
We did our best.
Yeah, he's like... That was an unprecedented encounter.
He's just like, and
It was
everybody's
an
like,
unprecedented encounter. Yeah.
but I think that because that what's just happened, any reaction following is going to seem just kind of forced,
yeah,
and that's going to take you out of the movie. But to have those two extremes face one another cancels it out and leaves me,
Somebody
immersed in
freaking
what's
the fuck out, and somebody else is just like, I'm gonna.
He's
eat
like,
my
what?
beans.
We're fucking fine. It kind of kept me in it, right? Because anything else is going to seem, if they all seem like rock hard soldiers that are like, fuck it, let's keep moving, you're going to be like, no, you just had this really wild adventure with a giant monkey that crushed your helicopter. This isn't how you would be behaving, right?
Yeah, I'd be ready to quit.
But then at the same time, not everybody's going to respond with, oh my God, we need to curl up in fetal position and die right here. So that happy medium where you have the two extremes fucking talking it out, and the one dude's just like, yeah, I'm going to eat my beans, and then we're going to go.
And Samuel L. motherfucking Jackson.
I'm tired of these motherfucking helicopters getting crushed by motherfucking monkeys.
Please tell me he actually says, I'm sick of these motherfucking monkeys on the fucking island.
No, he doesn't.
That would be awful.
But you know what he does say? He does do an exact quote from Jurassic Park. And I looked right at Jareth and I was like, did he really just say that? He just says, hold on to your butts. And I'm
he
like,
does
what?
Indeed.
That's his line from Jurassic Park. Is this movie just going to be a 2-hour-long experience where Sam Jackson just starts re-quoting all of his lines?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
He goes through
either
the Pulp
that-
Fiction
Yeah, exactly. Like
Bible verse.
Say what again?
Say what again? I double dare you,
I
motherfucker.
double dog dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
Oh, man.
But he says that to King Kong, who never said what at all.
Oh.
Just staring him down from standing in the lake. Speaking of the lake, the other helicopter pilot lands way the fuck off in the middle of nowhere. He starts getting water. That water that he was getting filling up his canteen with did not seem deep enough for a giant fucking octopus.
You talking about Chapman?
Toby
Chapman.
Kebbell.
Yeah.
Chapman, yeah, dude.
So
Chapman.
I don't know if you know this, Toby Chapman, who plays or Toby Kebbell, who plays Chapman.
Yeah.
He's also Kong. Did you know that?
No.
He's like Andy Serkis. He does motion capture and stuff.
Sweet.
So Toby
Wow.
Kebbell in this movie is the same guy who plays Kong for motion capture.
Nice. So,
Because he was also in is it Dawn of the Planet of the Apes? Was the second one?
yes.
He's the bad ape in that one, and then Andy Serkis is the good ape.
Oh.
Was it Koba or something like
Yeah,
that?
that sounds right. And then, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Caesar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Wow. Jack Chapman, Kong, and yeah.
It's
He's also Duratan and whatever that word is. And
Oh, he was the guy. Oh, you're right. He did Warcraft.
Yeah,
he
he's
was
Warcraft the beginning.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was,
Or the Warcraft the beginning.
So I also have another really cool fact for you guys about
Go
this
for
movie.
it. Fire.
So you know how there was Mills, who was John Goodman's like assistant,
Yeah.
the young black guy.
Yeah.
And then there was San, who was the Japanese lady.
Yeah.
Well,
Which I felt like she was just kind of thrown in there.
that's the thing. In the Japanese market, they filmed extra scenes where she takes over his role and she's more prominent, and then he is in the background, so that there's a Japanese or an Asian character, more prominent. So they filmed double scenes to where she's more prominent, and then in the American audience, he's more prominent.
That seems kind of catery.
Yeah.
It's like, look, it's a black man stepping up for us.
Yeah.
And then for them, it's like, look, it's an Asian person.
Well, because there's no, prior to them actually basically arriving on the island, there's really no scene with her in it.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're like, and now she's here.
Yep.
And so, I don't know, it would have been, I think I would have been more okay with it if it's like both of them were there from the beginning. They're both working with him.
It
But
seems
whatever.
like way more work than is needed.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh. So we get through the spider terror and all of that nonsense, and
Then
we
Demon Bird Tree.
Oh, I forgot about the demon
Those
bird.
saw-beak
Fucking
motherfuckers.
Sawbeak bastard. Everything about everything on this island is
So you
just
see-
awful.
So you see this tree, and this is whenever Sam Jackson and his crew are walking through the jungle. They're walking through a swamp, and right beneath the tree, they see through the
Quote
binoculars
unquote bird.
this pterodactyl thing, except it has saw blades. It looks like for a beak.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Fuck that thing," and he shoots it. And when he shoots it, turns out that the tree that looked like a fully bloomed tree was a dead tree. It was just thousands of birds were on it. So when he shoots it, all those birds just fly off the tree.
And nothing happens right then with that.
Yeah,
They all just fly away.
it was just a big bowl of nope.
Yeah, it doesn't
It was a
happen
big old
until
nope tree.
It doesn't happen until later.
where they decide to Final Destination a guy.
Yeah.
for virtually no reason. They're just like, this guy needs to die.
And then
now.
they don't give a shit when he dies. They're like, nope, nothing we can do.
Yeah, they're kind of callous at this
fuck
point.
his character.
Yeah.
He was disposable anyway.
He was pretty
Kind
whiny.
of, yeah.
He was written in there for that specific purpose.
Yeah.
And also, this is before, all that takes place after we get to Donald Trump's wet dream with a 900-foot tall wall.
Yeah, where the indigenous live.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're good as long as we live in here, because this is where we're okay, and out there's where it's bad.
Yeah.
But then following that is whenever they decide that they're going to go bebopping out into Skullcrawler territory. And
because they have to get to the northern side of the island.
And John Riley's like, no, you're never going to make it up there.
So I guess we needed to explain what John C. Reilly's character is all about. So during World War II, he was... Yeah.
Yeah, tail end of World War II.
He was a P-51 pilot, and he was in a battle with a Zero pilot.
Mm-hmm.
They both crash land on... Skull Island. They don't obviously know it's Skull Island.
Yeah.
Which, how did they get through that storm?
They may have flown above it.
Or they flew into the storm and crashed as a result.
But why would you fly into that storm intentionally? Anyway, semantics.
I mean, if you got a zero on your fucking tail, you do some crazy shit to make sure that doesn't happen.
I figured it out. It's a storytelling device. They needed them to be on that island so they could set precedent and have him there when the rest of the people got there. So they're suspending disbelief and just hoping that you gloss over all that. There
Perhaps. But
just like with the helicopters?
Andrew's using logic, and this movie defies all logic.
No. This movie does a pretty good job of keeping that right there at the edge of it.
At the edge.
Here's the thing with sci-fi movies. You can suspend disbelief as long as you adhere to the rules that you set in place initially.
Yes, that's true.
So if you say
and they screwed up with
there's a giant lightning
so.
typhoon that surrounds this island.
No, he's got a valid point.
If you set a precedent, there's a giant lightning typhoon that surrounds this island to keep people from crash landing there, then you need to adhere to those rules. If you say that there's a giant 500-foot monkey on the island, you got to set precedent that he has to eat a shit ton of food to survive, which they do show him eating calamari.
Yeah, he straight up kills that octopus.
That was great.
There was so much in this movie that was completely unnecessary.
Nonsense.
There was, and what I mean by that is, it was cool unnecessary, but that it was still unnecessary.
It was eye candy for a lot of it.
It was eye candy. They kept showing, here's another cool monster. Well, okay, we don't have time to go more in depth. We got to show you this other cool monster. They got so many monsters in this movie that they had to end up saying, there's more monsters on here, but we just can't show you. There's fucking ants the size of birds. Yep, you hear that? It's not a bird, that's a fucking ant.
Yeah.
Which
I
turned
really
out to be one of the best lines.
Yeah, it was
in the
one
movie,
of them. So we get to the moment
where...
where...
That's the only F-bomb in the movie, too.
Yeah. We get
good use of it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. We get to the moment where they're getting ready to take off through...
They have to get to the north end of the island where
this blasted area that you find two giant skull remains of Kong's parents.
Yeah, Kong's parents, because they were eaten by skull crawlers.
Yes. Where these things have come up through the ground.
Yeah.
And because everything's supposedly subterranean. All of these big monsters and everything.
Hollow Earth.
Were the skull crawlers blind, or did they have eyes?
They've got eyes.
They've got
the eyes on the side of their skull. Because Jareth and I were discussing how they are set up versus what we know about prey and predator.
Yeah, but then Andrew said that they probably see through smell, which is invalid.
Which is like snakes. Snakes have eyes on the side of their head.
Right.
Because it was flicking its tongue.
That's true, but it didn't seem to know that they were there while he was doing it.
Falcon or raptors, like birds of prey raptors, not dinosaur raptors.
Right.
They have eyes on the sides of their head too.
So we get to this moment, and they were really, 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 really focused on what's his face is John Goodman's camera. Every time the flash would go off.
Yeah.
How many of you guys thought that he was going to either blow himself up with the camera?
I was just waiting for it to happen.
Yeah.
There was a lot of flammable toxic gas.
Yeah, and it's seeping out of.
And he has a bust bulb flashlight. So.
Yeah, and he keeps taking pictures with it, and he's they're really focused at this, and I just kept thinking he's going to take a picture and he's going to blow up, and that's how they're going to kill him. Nope. Turns out he's not. He ends up instead getting devoured by one of the skull crawlers, and that flash, for whatever reason, just keeps going off because it malfunctioned.
Yeah.
It was no.
I would have thrown the camera as soon as it started flashing.
I know, right?
Get out of here!
No, go after that thing.
Yeah.
So that whole fight was kind of amazing.
I hated it.
I thought Okay, so parts of it were really, 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 really visually satisfying. There were other parts of it that
there's a difference between beautiful and good. Everything in this movie is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
But here's specifically what I'm talking about. I know I'm jumping over you here.
No, go for it. What?
There's a part where next to a fire, a can of gas, like toxic gas, explodes.
Yeah.
Thomas Hiddleston, who is Loki, in case you don't know who I'm talking about, he shouts out to John C. Reilly, "Give me your katana," because the Japanese guy who has been dead for a long time, it was his katana. He's like, "Give me the katana," and then he starts going ape shit on those buzzsaw burrs, just going all 300 on their ass. Here's the thing. I have not, nor have I ever been in the military. I know for 100% fact that the SAS does not take you through samurai training. He went fucking jujitsu on their ass, and I'm like, no, it looks cool.
He starts wrecking stuff. The other point that I would like to make on that same note, have you ever worn a gas mask of that variety?
Yeah, they're not comfortable, and you can't put them on that easily.
And it splits your vision.
There.
Yeah.
And the way they did it, they rotoscoped the view in so that he could see well. And I'm telling you right now,
perfect.
With the mask like that, it actually jacks with you. You have to train for a while to get used to the way you see, because it almost takes your eyes and moves them like this on your head. Yeah, and so it takes
Roper needs to be fisted.
That is a line that needs to be.
Roper can fist himself,
dude. That's exactly where I was.
So
going
I was watching him put that mask on. As soon as you said that, I was like, yeah.
You knew.
And he's all of a sudden he's like, he turned into what's the ninja from Metal Gear Solid?
I don't know.
Raiden.
All I know.
No. The Psycho Mantis. I'm sorry, not the ninja. He turned into Psycho Mantis with the mask, you know?
Except for not floating around and mind controlling motherfuckers.
The only thing in my mind, I heard them scream the Mortal Kombat music, and then all I heard was Mortal Kombat, and of course he takes off through this green mist of death.
Also, I was pretty sure that he put that on because the gas was toxic.
Yes,
but they run in.
He was the only one wearing the mask.
He was the only one he runs in to save somebody else who's not wearing a mask, who's in there for 10 minutes, and he takes it off.
Yeah,
when he picks them up
on the other side of the gas.
No,
so
when he goes to get them.
Do you people not know how gas works? It's kind of an AOE.
It's like a spreading AOE.
Yeah, it went off here and it kind of creeps out in all directions.
Cloud kill, motherfuckers.
That's what this is, and so that part I wasn't so pleased with.
But yeah, you're right. He did instantly go from SAS field operative to Raiden in just a millisecond.
I definitely somebody when they wrote that scene was like, this is gonna look cool,
and it does. It looks cool.
Let's get Tom Hiddleston chopping motherfucking saw blade birds with a motherfucking samurai sword with a motherfucking gas mask.
So.
That guy got a fucking raise right there.
Full stop right there, because then you switch over to the guy that's in the bone remains of a Triceratops.
Oh, and he has the M60?
Which does fuck all.
Yeah. Okay, at what point in time do you go, hey, guys, why are we still shooting it?
See, here's my thought. If the world we live in here is ever invaded by kaiju, I'm just going to automatically assume guns aren't going to hurt him.
Yeah,
because they never do.
Yeah. At what point, like I said, at what point in time do you go, I'm going to save these bullets for people that are trying to get me, and not the big monster?
A motherfucking M60 can kill a building.
Here's the problem, though. Here's where reality and movie making collide. So the concept there is that these guys are not just soldiers, but these are in the shit soldiers. These aren't just these aren't just trained soldiers. These guys have been in Nam, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're familiar with these weapons. They know how they work. They know what their capacity is. What they never show you in the movies is the M60, for all of its many, many awesome traits, is incredibly inaccurate at anything over about 30 yards. And even then, it's spot. And here's the thing.
Yes,
those
but
kind
he's
of weapons,
shooting at a giant-ass monster.
I'm just saying that's just one aspect. That's not even what I was actually driving home to. Those weapons are never used to kill things.
They're used
all
for
the things,
suppression.
All the movies they ever show, they're like, yeah, look at us, we're taking down this dude with it. No, like 35 people in the history of war have been cut down by an M60. It's used for suppression.
Well,
it's to move a
cut
large...
down on purpose.
Cut down on purpose, yeah.
Because it's putting a wall of bullets.
Put a wall of bullets up that make people hide, okay?
But here's what you're facing in this.
And after the third time you fire at one of these things and it just keeps coming at you,
you stop.
The soldier goes, fuck this. I'm out. Peace.
Abandon
you
the
drop
M60.
it and run.
But the thing is he never gets that opportunity, and
no, he doesn't.
He never ever makes that opportunity. But what I'm saying is you're firing at something the size of a bus or bigger.
It was bigger than a bus.
So your wall of bullets is absolutely hitting it.
Because again,
it's not doing anything.
And it's not doing anything.
That's what I'm saying. You've mowed stuff down with this thing before. You know what 2 or 3 rounds from this thing can do? You've now put almost 70 in it, and it's just like...
Refer back to can kill a building.
Yeah.
Yes, can kill a building.
I really thought they were going to do something else with all of that. The lighter explosion at the very end of the scene.
Hated that.
I hated that as well.
See, here's the thing. If you look back at 2014 Godzilla, it takes place in a world where people aren't superheroes. They're just people. So whenever you have this movie where people can do crazy things, it doesn't show continuity for the universe that you're trying to create.
Exactly.
So... yeah, Kong Skull Island looks pretty, but the people do stuff that doesn't fit with the universe that you've created.
Well, they wanted too bad to show how tough a small skullcrawler was.
Yeah.
So that every time that Kong fights one,
yep.
Every time Kong fights one, you're like, oh God, there's nothing we can do about it.
That way they could build it up to when the big one eventually came out of the water.
Because the big one does wake up.
One of the things that... and you're right. I had many, many, many problems with this movie. One of them was the sad attempt at building a... almost to the extent that I thought maybe there was a small chance they never intended for there to be one. The romantic link between Tom Hiddleston and
the female photographer
Bree.
I'm actually kind of glad there was no romantic interest in this movie.
Well, me too, but they kept hinting at it there was a lot of scenes.
Like they probably have sex after they get off the island.
There's probably 15 or 16 scenes where both of them are standing on a cliff
and
together,
they're shooting gooey eyes,
talking quietly and looking at each other, and it's pointless. I mean, it never feels organic, not once in the entire film. You know?
Well, yeah, because to begin with, she's kind of at odds with him because she's like,
she's all about peace.
You're basically a mercenary, and I don't dig that kind of stuff.
Actually, he's literally a mercenary.
Yeah. Well, no, but she doesn't call him that outright. She actually's like, so you're like a mercenary?
Yeah, might as well.
I mean, but she's like, so you're like a mercenary? And he's like, yeah, I mean, kinda.
Well, that'd be like if I was like, so you're like a piece of shit?
And then I mean, yeah.
Your response to that would be like, you called me a piece of shit.
Yeah. But he doesn't do that. And then later on, there's another reference at it again where she's like, I hope you're getting paid a whole bunch of money for this.
There was also...
which he did.
Yeah. But we get past all of that, and we get around to... The big one finally fucking wakes up.
The big skull crawler.
The big skull crawler wakes up.
Because these have been little ones up until this point.
Yeah, and he's been kind of Oh no, I missed another thing.
Sam Jackson.
Cole's death. I have to mention that.
We're not there yet.
No,
because it's right there when that thing wakes up.
No, we actually get to Sam Jackson. It's like, we got a napalm Kong in the river. And
I was just
going
to say, we're almost up to the point where, what's his name? Chapman dies now.
Yeah.
Chapman. And
so, would you call that a MacGuffin?
Chapman?
I mean, once they find out that he's dead?
No, I wouldn't, because a MacGuffin is generally...
it's something to move the plot forward.
Yeah, but it's also usually an object that is previously stated.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of what he's doing.
Well, yeah, but
because he's like, we got to get to Chapman, when in reality he's like, we need all the bombs.
I would say maybe the bombs are a MacGuffin, except for the MacGuffin is useless.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Also, I was wondering that.
I would say that it's more of just a goal.
Yeah.
It would be like a MacGuffin if there was like a staff of Kong killing over there.
It's the toothpick that kills Kong.
Yeah.
And then they had to go get that so that they could actually finish the
Okay.
thing.
All right, fair. So Chapman goes down in the big helicopter with all of their explosives.
The it's sea something. Sea cow? What the fuck did he call it?
Shawn.
It was a giant carrier.
Yeah, it's one of the double bladed long helicopters.
Yeah.
It's like a Chinook looking
it's a Chinook.
motherfucker. Okay, it was a Chinook?
Yeah, that's what
But he
Chinook-
calls it like a sea something. Like
CH-130?
No.
Sea cow.
no, it was like SEA something. It's like an animal.
That's what Jared said.
No, it's a Chinook helicopter, the one that that Chapman went down in. All of those large support choppers were.
Yeah, but like they called it something.
Yeah.
Is what he's saying.
Because
Is it
Samuel L. Jackson kept calling it a thing.
important?
Not
Not
really.
really.
Okay.
Not really. He was just commenting on it.
Because
So-
I know that's what a Chinook looks like. I've been inside of one.
They were like, "We're gonna go get Chapman. We have to go get Chapman." And so you have this. He's trying to paint this picture that, hey, I'm going here to do the right thing, when in reality he's actually going there because he really, really wants to kill Kong.
Because of a really strong stance that the movie is taking on the concept of war,
I guess,
but that
I
it
also,
doesn't nail down really well.
I also think that it's part that and part that they were trying to paint this picture that Samuel L. Jackson's character was like divorced of reality and was very much wanting to stay combatant.
he
Like,
wants
that's
to
why
be
he
in
takes-
a war.
That's why he took
He wants
the
to
extra fight.
Yeah, he's all about
Because
winning.
they kept bringing up this thing. Tom Hiddleston was mostly the mouthpiece for this particular moral stance, the no man comes home from war thing.
Yeah.
Well, and also that Samuel Jackson drove the point home many times that they lost the war because of people like her and things like that. He's all about winning constantly, and he talks about all the other times he's kicked ass and things like that. So there's this concept that he doesn't give up. He doesn't surrender.
Well, it's like
He
all
doesn't-
the medals and everything that you saw at the very beginning in that box that he
And he
has
says,
off.
what
Yeah.
did all of that mean?
Yeah.
So they're taking an interesting stance on
He was
war.
trying desperately to stay in the conflict. That's why he took the extra mission. That's why he did all this stuff, is because he's just on board with it. So we find out at the end of this whole scene, because the explosion goes off and kills the Skullcrawler, and we drag the Chapman's, because Chapman gets killed. And you knew that was going to happen. He's out there by himself in what John C. Reilly tells us is like the worst place on the island.
It sucks that he does die, though, because I was rooting for Chapman because I like his character.
Yeah.
And I always you said Toby
Kebbell.
Kebbell. I like that guy in every movie he's in. So I was hoping that he might make it because he's
Really?
just-
Every
he's-
movie he's in?
What? Well, never. Hold on.
Every single movie he's
Warcraft doesn't count.
in? No.
Oh.
No. Fantastic Four?
Oh yeah, never mind. Okay, so I like him.
Every
I like him in many things I've seen him in. Let's qualify that statement. But I was
Warcraft
rooting
was
for him because
okay.
he's a good guy. Does that make
So,
sense?
Prince
He's
of
a
Persia
balance
was good?
to he's a balance to Samuel L. Jackson's douchiness, right?
Yeah.
In this movie, and he seems like he's got good motivations, but he's just that guy who does what he's told.
Yeah.
You know, and so it kind of sucked when
So they kept...
he hangs up
but
his stuff, and at that
Yeah.
point, oh man.
Yeah, you knew he did
As soon as you saw him hang up his stuff and start playing with the radio and be unaware, he gives up all situational
Yeah, he just
awareness.
he
You're like,
kind of
oh,
just
yeah.
turns himself off to it all, and
Yeah.
he gets
He's
straight up
finna go
eaten.
down, dude.
So Warhorse was good?
Okay.
So Wrath of Titans was good?
So laundry listing all the bad shit he's been in.
So The Counselor was good? So Ben-Hur was good?
You want him to?
Ouch.
You want him to keep on keeping on?
No, it's all good. I like Toby Kebbell in many
One more.
things I've seen him in. Not
You
everything.
got one more?
No, I'm good.
All right. I was like, oh, one more. He's got one more. So
Probably.
so he dies. We managed to get past all that business. Andrew, how'd you feel about Chapman dying as a result of all of this? I mean, did you see it coming?
Oh, yeah. He was totally dead.
I mean, they kept flashing back and forth to him, but then there came that blood spatter that shoots across the screen because they don't want to show you whether or not he's the one that got a shot off on the
Oh, did
Skullcrawler.
I think that like maybe there was a cutaway to where he actually survived?
Yeah.
No, he was dead.
Yeah.
I
You straight up knew it?
Yeah.
So we get done with all that business, and we know that he's dead at this point in time.
Because
and,
the Skullcrawler vomits his goddamn head up along with his dog tags.
Yep.
Very, just miraculously in front of them, so they know.
Yeah, well, in front of Tom. And Tom's sitting there, and he sees it at a surprising distance. Can you read dog tags at that distance, Shawn?
No.
So,
he picks them up, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Even when holding them many times, even when holding them in front of your face, you got to angle them right so that
because
you can read them.
This has been digesting for a little bit
because of the embossing, yeah. So
and this has been in the guts of a monster. So we get past all that business. The big one fucking wakes up.
Which after Kong gets knocked out by Sam Jackson and his crew.
Which is apparently named Ramarak.
And they named it?
I guess.
Oh, I didn't
I
know
saw it. I was trying to find what the fuck he calls that fucking helicopter.
And you saw it on the screen as it was sliding by?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I didn't realize it had a fucking name.
The big star caller?
Yeah.
Huh.
I didn't know. So, so far, we keep having moments with Cole that it's like Cole is the man.
He is.
I think he's my hero in all of this.
He brings brevity. He's the only person who's not taking any of this shit too seriously. He's a diehard soldier who does what he does, and he does it extremely well. He's battle worn. He doesn't overreact to shit, but he thinks on his feet all the time. And so,
well, he didn't think to throw those fucking grenades, did he?
He wasn't trying for that.
Yeah, poor Cole, man. He's like, I'm
going
to
go sacrifice himself for everyone else. And I thought that was OG.
I know.
All the way up until that damn thing whipped around and hit him with his tail, and I was like,
well, too goddamn smart.
We know that thing ain't going down from this.
Well, I didn't figure it would kill it because we knew that it had to keep fighting. Maybe. But it was great because as I saw him pull the pins, he's like, come get it, motherfucker. It reminded, first thing I was thinking was the chopper gunner in, oh my God, Full Metal Jacket.
Okay, there we go.
Get some, get some, get some, get some. So I'm watching him pull the pin, and I'm like, oh yeah. And then all of a sudden, the thing whips around and hits him with his tail, and I mean, he
splatters him on the side of a mountain.
But he probably flies a good 250 yards before he hits the wall, and I'm like, he's out of here.
He was fucking dead when that tail hit.
Yeah, that thing Babe Ruthed his ass.
He was fucking dead when that tail hit.
It might as well have pointed, to the outfield.
Dude, it stopped. It stopped and just looked at him, and I think that was the hang-up right there. This thing's been around for whoever knows how long, right? It's probably wise to your fucking games, right?
Yeah.
It's looking at you. It's like, no one wants to get eaten by me.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What's your game here?
What's your end game here, asshole? I see through you. And sure enough, it turned around. It's like, nope. And it slaps him. And he goes sailing, and then he blows up. But man, I really, really wish that thing would have, actually done something. They would have, got him and, blown off half its face or something.
Because you just want Cole to go out like a boss.
Yeah, because I wanted more for Cole.
Because he was so good.
Because he was so good.
But it's so cool, though,
so
at the same point.
It was a cool death, yeah.
Yeah, so we're bypassing a bunch of stuff here because we got about...
It was also
a little less than 5 minutes.
Sorry, it was also good that they subverted that.
Yeah.
Because it's too typical for the, I'm just fucking tired of it, I'm just going to go fucking sacrifice myself for the whole team thing. That was a fucking stupid move.
I mean, kinda.
He gave up. That's why.
I think what I really liked about him was and this will be the last thing I want to say about him, and then we'll move to the next point, and then we're going to wrap things up. His rifle, the conversation that he had about his rifle.
Or he took it off of a farmer.
Yeah, and they were like...
That was another one of the war commentaries
that they were doing.
What if he grows up and he comes after you? I got his rifle.
I'll still have his rifle. Yeah. You got a little giddy about that. That was kind of funny.
Was funny.
Yeah. Cole was very, very good in this
film.
film.
The big Ramarak Skullcrawler's chasing him. All of a sudden, you just hear Kong roar, and he jumps from the sky and hits the Ramarak with the side of a mountain, pretty much. He just has a boulder the size of him, pretty much. I don't know how he's jumping through the air carrying this thing.
Super Kong.
Crushes it right through his head.
So all of that fight ensues in this giant lake, and Kong gets his arm wrapped up in that chain with
an anchor.
Before we get to that, I want to talk about how Kong rips a tree out of the ground.
And goes all Wrigley Field on it?
He goes Wrigley Field on his ass.
He does. He pulls this thing up out of the ground, and he
strips it with one.
it down.
That was great. The fact that that's honestly what made the scene. Was Kong rips out of the ground and he strips all of the branches off of it like he was just cleaning a new bat.
Yeah.
And then he proceeds to go Kirby Puckett on him.
And he just whips the piss out of that thing.
Tobey Maguire ain't got shit on Kong.
And he steps up there and just whips the shit out of this thing, but then it starts winning.
And the thing to remember in every fight you guys ever get in, don't try to eat the other guy's fist.
He does.
Oh my god.
So, okay, I have a problem with that.
She
was in his hand. He has such muscle control that he doesn't crush her.
Yeah, the
in
whole
his
time
fist.
that this was happening, I know.
But I want to know what that was like from her perspective. Does she just get out like, I've seen some shit,
Oh,
guys?
man. I was in there because she was straight down that thing's throat inside Kong's hand.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was awful. But
he managed to not only not crush her, but also grab the tongue.
Yeah.
And hold it strong enough to pull it out.
He grabbed its esophagus.
It looked like he went deeper than that. It looked like he grabbed his dick from the inside.
Yeah, he
ripped out his entire intestinal tract.
Just
he
pulls
pulls
it all out.
all of that guy's digestive organs.
Yeah, it was just like...
Which
reached
is the
up
most
in there and
baller thing
grabbed.
I've ever seen Kong do in any movie.
Yeah,
reach inside of a monster and rip its guts out.
That was his vomit fire into a mutation moment.
Yeah, that was his kiss of death.
I do want to see him try that again in Godzilla, and then watch his arm light up on crazy fire. You know, with this look of surprise, like,
oh my god, this one burns.
Almost that this worked before moment, you know.
Well, I guarantee you they're going to do that.
The thing is he didn't instigate that. The Ramarak did. Ramarak's like, I'm going to eat that hand. He's like, fine, fucker, choke on it.
Get some.
So,
that was after he pulled the... not propeller. I guess it is propellers.
Yeah,
off
it's
the giant.
It's a fucking hooked to a chain.
Yeah,
and he's got that thing wrapped around him. And he's using them
like God of War style.
Yeah, but
the prop from a warship.
Yeah,
he rips it off and treats it. Yeah, like
with shocking efficiency.
Yes. That's the part that
he's
I'm like,
smart monkey. He's a smart monkey.
Yeah,
I'm a smart human, but that doesn't mean that
I. Time out. At this point in this movie, if that's shocking you. You need to let go of reality a little more.
So we get through all this fight. Obviously, he survives. He manages to stay on the island. They all manage to get away. Then we have the big cutout scene where it's like credits and everything's rolling. But then we get to the very
post-credit scene.
Post-credit scene. And Shawn mumbling to himself like a madman, trying to tell everyone that's getting up and leaving, there's an after-credit scene. Hey, no, there's an after credit.
Where are you going, fuckers?
But he's talking to himself.
Yeah,
I can hear him.
I was trying not to be rude. Like I didn't want to offend. So I don't know if you guys
I am
noticed.
honestly surprised you didn't grab someone.
I always just go post-credit scene.
I am really surprised that you didn't grab someone.
Well, I don't know if you guys
sit down. There's a post-credit scene.
I don't know if you guys noticed who was sitting 3 seats to the left of us.
You mean the big blonde-headed chick that was like super drunk and staggering out of the theater?
She's the movie lady for KY3 and all these stations. She's
not KY3. Aaron's KY3.
I'm sorry. I've seen her stuff on there. KSPR and all the rest of them. She does for the Springfield News Leader, Chris something. Anyway, that was her, and so
was that really?
I didn't want her writing in her column, and then some asshole kept yelling at everybody saying, "There's a post-credit scene. There's a post-credit scene." I didn't want to be that.
But then they got up and left, and they didn't see the post-credit scene.
No, she didn't.
But we did. There was like us. It was
the four of us. Which is good to know that KSPR or Color 10, their reviews are done while they're drunk instead of sober.
Dude, you should have seen her. She was sloshed because whenever they got up to leave to go to the bathroom mid-movie, they were like,
I want to say this real quick. We go to the B&B Marquee Suite Theater, which is fucking amazing because they give you really good food and you can get a mixed drink if you want, like a good cocktail.
Jeff, what'd you get that one time?
I've gotten 2 different drinks, Roper.
Yeah,
but I know that you're after the actress.
Yeah, the actress.
Because you think it's hilarious.
I think it's
a
hilarious.
Fucking mixed drink.
It's a mixed drink that tasted like cranberry.
Funny.
What did you get, Shawn? You got like the old man or something like that?
The Old Man Logan.
Yeah,
it was good as fuck.
Yeah, you like to drink Old Man Logan, don't you?
So post-credit scene, we see Brie Larson and Thomas Hiddleston in an interrogation room.
They're in a Men in Black style interrogation room.
Then some people come in, the one young black guy and the Asian girl, and they're like,
welcome to Monarch.
Which, if you don't know, which John Goodman was the head of, they said that at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
They were part of Monarch. which I guess John Goodman was on a submarine that was destroyed by Godzilla.
Battleship.
It's a
A battleship that was destroyed by Godzilla.
Yes. Well, it's never said that it's Godzilla, but it's strongly implied.
Yeah.
Because he's out in the middle of the ocean, it's all ripped up. It was a giant lizard. Like, they make very specific hints towards, hey, Godzilla sank my battleship.
Yeah, exactly. Because, that's what Godzilla does in every single one of his movies. He destroys at least one battleship.
Well, I mean,
anywho, so...
but then they show the cave paintings.
Yeah, they say Kong isn't the only god out there.
The only king.
The only king out there. And then they show Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, King Ghidorah,
motherfucking Ghidorah,
which is
what
one
we
of my
all
favorite
did.
villains of all time.
Yeah, buddy. And of course, that just parallels all of this stuff together.
And then
you're like,
the screen goes black, and you hear Godzilla roar.
What year was it supposedly that the 2014 Godzilla was supposed to be occurring? Was that supposed to be 2014?
Modern 2014.
At that time? Okay, so from the 1970s?
Yeah, you have about 50 years for Kong to grow.
50 years of Kong still being on Skull Island, still doing his business, still
which
growing.
He's going to have another 8 years before he fights Godzilla, so he could be 60 years older, which means that I don't know how long the lifespan of a giant kaiju gorilla is, but I'm imagining it's more than 100 years.
But at the same time, he was massive as is. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
He going to be big.
Yeah.
He's also going to be
real big.
He's also going to be a geriatric, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, you don't really know what it's.
Well,
its life cycle
Godzilla's
is.
been around for just as long, so.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, you don't really know what its life cycle
Yeah,
is.
but reptiles tend to live a different life cycle than
I guess that's true.
mammals.
So,
suspend the disbelief, Jared.
Because we know that King Kong is at least 28, because of how long John C. Reilly's character's been there.
See, here's what I was wondering.
Here's the issue
at the very beginning of the movie, we see what we think is King Kong.
Mm-hmm.
What if that was his mom or dad? Because they were still alive when John C. Reilly got there, remember?
Yeah, that's true.
Because remember how big it was compared? Because even that gorilla I thought was bigger than Kong was.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible.
So,
that first introductory scene, because John C. Reilly's character and his Zero pilot, at first they're trying to straight up murder each other, but then later on they become like friends.
Yeah,
because they're stuck on this fucking island.
Stuck on the island together, and but then he gets home. What do you think about him getting home?
I liked it.
I liked it too.
It made me feel good.
I'm really glad he fucking made it.
And the fact that he had
a hot dog.
He got a hot dog and a beer, and he was watching the baseball game.
He was like, "There's nothing better than this."
I like the fact that he's been missing his wife, and she sees him, and
she passes out.
Yeah,
28 years later.
Yeah, and then he sees her, but then the next thing you see isn't him hugging her or anything. It's him eating a hot dog, drinking a beer.
Because he said, well, in the movie, like when they were talking, I forget Brie Larson when she was talking to him. He said, I don't
expect her to.
I don't expect her to want me back. I don't care if she's married or whatever else. I just, I want to know she's okay.
Yeah. And I want her to know I'm okay.
And I want her to know I'm okay. And then I want a hot dog and a beer, and I want to meet my kid.
Which was such a dad thing. I just want to know that they're okay. And it was really,
I mean, he's kind of come to terms with it at this point. So I think at this point we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Andrew, you do things on a YouTube channel?
I've been told that's what I do.
Yeah?
YouTube channel called Flick Freaks. We're one man down now. Yeah.
I know a guy.
You got to stop peeing on dogs, bro.
Can't help it. Everybody's got their thing.
You can find us at youtube.com/flickfreaks. Every single form of social media pretty much at /flickfreaks as well. We just passed 38,000 subscribers.
Woohoo!
Getting close to 40. And then we're almost halfway to our goal.
Congratulations.
Which is cool. We got a Let's Play series coming out soon. As soon as we get some photographs taken, the 7 Days to Die will start dropping. Very excited. That's all of us. Every single person sitting here.
Yes, it is.
Dire Monkey, we need to get you in some of that too.
Yeah, I can do that.
Hey, there we go.
Hey, Shawn.
What's up?
You have stuff you do on the internets?
Well, I don't
Can
talk
you talk about
it.
it?
Yeah, I was just going to say I don't talk about all of it.
I mean,
so
Spoilercast.
Stay off Pornhub and don't look up any of my internet handles.
It's Cornhub, like we discussed the other day.
Yes, it is
sir.
Cornhub. We had a very interesting discussion with my wife at the table.
We're sitting around
very
eating
funny.
actual corn, and then it became this really odd conversation about looking up, corn on the internet, and we're eating corn, and you can grow your own corn and eat your own corn, and
make your own corn.
you make your own corn. You can absolutely make your own corn and keep it on your computer.
And watch your corn. Yes. So, so we are at geek.0.com. That's GeekPoint0.com. And of course, every other social media under the sun /geek.0. Once again, GeekPoint0. We do a podcast as well. And we do a lot in the way of posting news and everything basically newsworthy and cool in gaming, tech, and pop culture. We also do a lot of giveaways of really cool stuff. Last month we gave away a copy of this month I should say, we gave away a copy of Horizon Zero Dawn, and we got something cool coming for April. So.
Nice. Hey, Dire Monkey.
What's up?
Spellbook Studios has now got Heroes of Dire on Steam.
It did. It dropped 2 weeks ago.
I got it.
On
I
Steam.
started playing it.
Yep. And people seem to be enjoying it. Reviews are good, mostly positive reviews.
Yeah.
And it's still being worked on via player request and feedback. So
how do you do that?
You log on to the forums.
Oh yeah, you can do that
Or
over
you
the
do,
forums?
or what people are doing right now, they're telling us in the game what to do.
I was going to say one of the coolest things about the game was the minute that I logged in and the tutorial was starting and all that, down at the bottom left there's a chat, ticker scroll, and there's people in there talking about the game, giving each other advice, telling people where to find stuff.
That's awesome.
And so, yeah.
Really active community, very helpful community. If you have any questions, usually the player base answers before one of our GMs can answer, so it's really nice for us.
Awesome.
And I think maybe this coming week there will be an in-game map coming in.
Nice.
So you can navigate around a little easier, and within the next month we'll have tournaments coming up. So
a lot of new developments to check out there. So,
Yeah.
Jareth, you want to say goodbye?
No. Everybody has to stay here.
Stop brooding. We're going to go get food.
You're trapped in here with me.
We're going to lock up the door.
We'll take you to the Humane Society. You can pee on a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Bye, Internet.
I'm fairly certain that whole thing's going to have to die sooner than later.
Everybody's got their fetish, man.